Look at my hair, y'all. So this is just a check-in to let y'all know I'm still alive. I've ran a fever off and on all day. Just strange. But I feel better overall. Strange. But I wanted to come on and update y'all on some stuff I've got going on. So let's give it a minute and see if anybody jumps in. I know it's later than I normally am, and I apologize about that. I've just had a day, y'all. I had me some tea steeping. So I am going to be doing another interview, like a mock interview with someone, I don't know, to kind of get my brain in interview mode. So I'm going to be bringing you all an interview to practice for the interview. I don't know, maybe I'm just being overcritical of myself. But I'm going to be doing a mock interview with one of my bonus children that is extremely successful. I've been in his life since he was 8 or 9. And one of my proudest moments was actually sitting in the audience when he was in the world tour of Rent, and it came back from Germany and it went to Knoxville, and I got to go watch him perform. And so that was one of my proudest moments as a bonus mom. I am a bonus mom. He's extremely successful. He went from a child that was kind of seen as the super energetic and irritating child to the teachers. And I saw him in the hallways one day, and I realized that he just had too much energy, and he just needed somewhere to funnel the energy. And so I said, well, why don't you come to dance class? Because we used to teach clogging. And I thought, if anything else, we'll send you home tired, you know. And he came to clogging class, and it was really good for him. He had, he had some stuff going on in life, and it was great for him to have a second family and a secondary place to have love and support. And I just kind of adopted him. His mom even refers to me as the bonus mom. it's kind of cute. I have a lot of bonus children. He is probably one of the ones that I'm so proud of. And his brother is much younger. His brother just turned 18 this last year. But his brother is just as talented. So he actually runs his own business. He does, he still does performance arts. And we'll talk about that when we get him online here in a few days to do an interview. But he also got the opportunity to sing with the Nashville Tenors. And I'm just proud of him. And I just wanted to brag on him. So I'm going to bring him here, and I'm going to brag on him for a while and introduce you all to him. I know the last really big trip that we had together was in 2018, and we went to Michigan to the North American Queen Convention. And I knew it was going to be my last big year to take a trip with my legs, and that I can't go alone, so friends always went with me. But this year, his entire family just jumped in the vehicle and were like, we're going with you. And so we all went to spend a whole long weekend in Michigan, in Detroit. And I was extremely excited because I wanted to introduce him to Peter Freestone. I love Peter Freestone. I call him Phoebe. He is one of my most dear friends in the world. We chat a lot, but we just became really good friends. We never talk about Queen. We never talk about anything Queen related. We just became really good friends, and we keep up with each other, and we care about each other. And I wanted so much for him to see my terribly talented little bonus child. And so we got him there, and he was actually permitted to sing at karaoke. Well, he did such a good job at karaoke that he actually ended up performing again through the weekend. And it was just nice to share my bonus child that I was so proud of with the entire crew. Hi, Denise. I'm letting you know I'm still alive. I've had a slow day because I've had a fever off and on. I think it's my body trying to kick this to the curb finally. And so I've not done really anything I should have done today. I've just rested and taken Tylenol. Um, but I wanted to let you know that I am, when I'm having coherent moments, watch me lose my voice, I am trying to get stuff lined up. So I will be doing this interview with one of my bonus kids who is extremely in the musical theater area and in the Nashville region, and lived in New York for a while. He's actually quite well known. Um, and he's just extremely successful, and he's just extremely talented and gifted and wonderful, and I'm just proud of him, and I just want to brag on him. And I want to show you all what the other teachers called the over stimulated and energetic trouble kid. I want you to see what he became, because it's amazing. And I didn't do anything but acknowledge that he needed a place to put his energy. That's all I did. I did nothing to change this young man. All I did was say, here, move your feet at this class and sit still, and at this dance class, and sit still when your teachers are teaching. That's all I did, was help him funnel his energy correctly. And it's amazing to see his transformation as a young man. And I think he's an artist. I think he's a showman. I think he's great. I love him to death. And so we're going to bring, his name is, his name is Jordan, but he goes by Jordan Long. And I believe on Instagram is Jordan Timothy Long for his business. And he does personal fitness, and but has also sang with the Nashville Tenors and has done the Rent World Tour, and just a lot of performance arts. And I'm gonna brag. I'm gonna brag, and I'm gonna hopefully get my voice back to going and get myself kind of centered. I told Ryan in a comment today, which he'll catch eventually, he always catches my comments, that my voice was staying better, and that I would contact him in the next day or two to start seeing what his schedule looked like to line stuff up, because I don't want to be in the middle of the interview and lose my voice or sound like a frog, which is happening a lot, I'm not gonna lie, the last few days. So I do have stuff coming down the pipeline. I am just extremely tired right now from where I've been so sick and everything that has just occurred in my world in the last, well, since December 24th. It's been a rough end of the year and start of a new one. I mean, it's just been rough. I've got me some more tea to help calm down my throat before I go to bed. But I do have stuff in the making, and I will try to be on during the next few days to make sure everybody that's in the path of the storm is doing okay, and kind of check up on you and make sure you're doing okay. I put information in a community post about a brand new missing youth from Indiana. And this is just a 15-year-old young lady from Indiana. All the information, I screenshot it and put in my community page. I believe her name is Malia. I'm having an off day because I'm not feeling well. But I put everything there because she just went missing. So if we can boost the information out, it would be a godsend for the family. So if you can go and share that community post, screenshot that information and share it, and just get the information out so that more people may recognize her face. She also has a medical injury from a recent knee surgery, so she's wearing a knee brace, which may help them identify her as well. Beautiful young lady. Seems like a runaway situation from the information, which is always horrible. Those were the most troubling cases I dealt with when I dealt with the juveniles. But if we can get her face out there, it may help someone recognize her. So everybody that's watching this later, please go to the community post, screenshot or share that information, somehow get it out there, and share so that her family has just an extra chance that someone might recognize her, someone might see her, and she might be able to be brought home safely. And she's extremely beautiful, which worries me 110 times more. That she will be taken advantage of in some way during this runaway attempt. So if everybody could just go and do that, I would appreciate it so much. And I wanted to do a whole video on her. I do not have the energy right now to do that, but I will be trying to keep up with a family member that contacted me to make sure that we kind of know what's, how everything's turned out, if anything changes. It's just so sad to see so many kids going missing, whether it's by their choice to run away or just happenstance, someone was abducted or disappeared. And I've been studying this missing children phenomenon in North America for a while now. And what I realized back when I was a deputy, what a lot of, a parole officer, see, my brain's not working tonight, when I had a badge, what I realized a lot of people did not understand from a police perspective, because they didn't talk about it, because it was like one of those taboo subjects. North America actually has quite a black market, although it's not per se a black market, but they treat it like a black market, of fetal parts transfer and sales. It was something that took me a while to wrap my head around when I realized exactly how broad spectrum of an issue it was, and that it was being done from major federally funded organizations in our nation, and that it was creating a secondary black market. And I know that people don't always like to realize that we have evil in the world. We have evil in this world. Evil that you've not even begun to think about. So we have our issues as a nation, and we have some definite issues we need to take care of. With that being said, I think if the good people stood up, these issues would become non-issues rather quickly. I don't know why people do not stand up. I do not know why people do not voice their opinion. I don't know why people are so intimidated by their own opinion or by others' opinions. So, this entire Whoopi Goldberg issue that's going on, how can you be like a megastar with mega millions and have canoodled your way and schmoozed your way around so many different types of people and be so stupid? And for her to kind of say that the way she said it. Now, I don't believe in the cancel culture. I think everybody should be able to speak, and if we disagree, we should be able to disagree. But we're not being allowed to have a dialogue. And so if we play by the rules that have been pawned on us the last few years, then yes, she should have pretty severe repercussions. But in a perfect society, we would all be able to sit down and talk about this and bring information to the table and walk away with either a changed mind, a different perspective, or a stubborn intent. And right now, we're not being given any options but to swallow what is being spoon-fed to us. And somebody said that she went on the late night show and then, said from a race issue, I'm black, so I see race differently. Don't you think that every race sees their race and other races in a bias? I mean, just there's a bias there. And, and I acknowledge that. I try to meet everybody on an individual basis, and that's my wholehearted attempt every time I meet somebody. But you do have an undertone bias to yourself because it has become such a topic. It's being force-fed to be in your frontal lobe at all times, to be on the tip of your tongue at all times, to be, just in your ear at all times. So, and I get a little irritated because the slavery talk, the slavery issue, the slavery discussion is not just an America issue. It's not just a North America West phenomenon. It came from the East to the West. We just adopted what was going on. And should we have? No. I know it was not right. But we are not, we don't tote that badge of shame completely on our own. And myself, I've been frustrated because my entire life I've known I'm Scots, Irish, and Cherokee, and I've got a tiny dash of German in me. And I know that many of my ancestors were brought over from Ireland as slaves. And people go, oh, they were indentured. No. It said indentured on the paperwork, but the crown had taxed them at such an interest rate that they were never going to be able to pay that debt off. Therefore, they were slaves. I am. Thank you for asking, Amy. I'm feeling bad. I ran a fever a lot today, but I don't feel as bad. So I think my body is trying to just kind of scoot this on out. I will be so glad when that happens. So I have tried to go on many message forums, many genealogy sites, and I have tried to get more information about my ancestors, or have a dialogue with someone else that has the same lineage, and I get absolutely attacked. And thank you, I appreciate the prayers. I get absolutely attacked saying that I have no basis to speak about slavery because I can't understand it. And I think, well, we're the same, like, generations away, so if I can't understand it, how can you understand it? Because I know that many of my ancestors were enslaved right alongside, living with many of the slaves that were brought over from the West. I know that after, they were freed, many of them hid in the hollows and started their own communities and intermarried and had communities and were happy, and there was no racial divide. They were just family. That's how you get the Melungeons in Tennessee and North Carolina. Yeah, slavery is not a North America, Western civilization issue. It happened all over the world, and it's still, if you look at where it's still happening in the East. So the ownership that they try to pawn off kind of irritates me. And then the shutdown of anyone else that has any kind of slavery in their ancestry is ridiculous, because we should all be able to talk about it. Hi, Dusty. So, for me to see Whoopi say what she said, I'm just like, really, Whoopi? Really, Whoopi? Yes, yeah, racism is, it pretty much, we went through some growing pains, but we got to a happier place. And when the government saw us at a happier place, they went, oh, wait, we need to recreate that issue because it's a really good wedge issue that gives us power. And so they recreated racism. Did you know that the Rosa Parks, where she got on the bus and sat, it was staged? Like, it was staged. It didn't naturally occur and people just stumbled upon it. It was staged. Which, yeah, it still was an important thing for her to do. But y'all, let's tell the truth. let's tell the truth. So I get kind of irritated as sometimes the rose glasses view that we allow other groups to have, and we, like, I got on Hulu today and it was like, it's Black History Month, and that's great. You should know your history, you should own your history, you should love your history, you should want to scream your history from the top of the hills. You should be so proud of who you are and where you come from. Everyone should. And I had to click through 3 screens that was trying to direct me to Black history. Watch Black movies. Do you want to watch titles from Black History Month? Why don't we have a Polish History Month? Why don't we, why doesn't Hulu say, you want to watch Polish movies? You want to watch German movies? Do you want to watch Latin movies? I just think if we're going for equality, we should all be able to embrace our heritage, our ancestries, and talk about it, even the bad stuff. No one has a genealogy that they're completely proud of. And we should be able to talk about it. Absolutely, we're all human beings. It is. It's absolutely an agenda. We should be able to talk about these things. I have a really good friend that is Black, and we don't have any of these issues that I see on TV when we sit down to talk. I ask her about her 2 baby girls. I remind her how precious and beautiful they are. I ask her how the family's doing. we don't butt heads and have any cultural issues. And when I speak about things that she, gets a little too redneck, she laughs and calls me a redneck. And I'm like, heck yeah, I am. So there's no agenda. And I think it's so easy right now between what's happening, especially in Canada and here, to see the people that are being manipulated. I spoke about this a little bit this morning. To see the people that are being manipulated, that are being used as pawns, that are pushing an agenda that they can't back up with facts, they can't say is doing anything positive, they just are regurgitating. I mean, it's just like, it's just sickening, because they're manipulated. They're completely in the propaganda. Yeah, I have friends from all backgrounds too, and I have no problems. None of these issues that are supposed to be issues in our society do I experience as a little Appalachian, trying to have friends all over the world. I've never had that issue. Oh, I missed that one. You said about. I have two biracial. I have two family members that married. One was biracial and one was black. And so I have 4 biracial nephews, and I think they're beautiful. I think they're so handsome. They're just perfect little men, and I'm just so impressed with them. And I don't know how people try to say, oh, well, that's a little hillbilly from the South. She hates you automatically. And I'm like, no, wait, my family looks almost just like yours. I just talk funny. And I know I talk funny. And I don't care if you tell me I talk funny. So it's kind of frustrating to see people follow propaganda. I would hate to think that if I was like those 2 young men sitting in that multicultural center, just at a school where I paid tuition to go to school, I would hate to think that I would have been run out by people saying that I did not belong. If it was wrong for one group to say it, it's wrong for every group to say it. So why are we saying it all these days? Why are we reversing the issue? Why are we trying to make it it's almost like a vengeance, like a revenge, regressive issue. And I'm like, y'all, it does not have to be this. And I think my perspective is when the government tried to bring it as an agenda again and started to try to make it a wedge issue in society, they went about it in such a vicious way that they actually created a very profitable victim mentality within a large group of individuals, not just in one race. Doing it to one race created it in all races. So we're all affected, whether we want to think we are or not. And it created this victim mentality that so many people carry. And they carry it, like it's a millstone around their neck that they have to, talk about every day and show everybody and make sure it's the biggest thing that's on the table. And I'm like, no, your heart, what you offer others, how you treat people, those are the big things. I'm glad to see everybody rolling in, especially before this nasty weather. Well, and Whoopi's one to talk, with some of the things that she's been, a participant of, and especially her whole time when she was with that one guy from Cheers. She's one to talk, and I don't watch I've never watched an episode of View. I only watch the clips that like make news or create an issue, and I can barely stomach the clips because of the lack of insight, the lack of intelligence, the lack of integrity. I just see nothing within those vessels sitting at that table. That's what they are. They're vessels, and the people that own them pour in them what they want spilled out, and other people lap it up. And I don't understand how people do not see that. Yeah, well, it's definitely a distraction from everything else. Just like, there's been so many false flags, and, and nobody will talk about it, but it was Obama that reversed the PSYOPs to allow the government to run these psychological campaigns on its own people. That was illegal, and Obama reversed that. So, no thanks to you, bud. So that's why these wedge issues have become so prominent since that time. It has become a major propaganda thing. Oh, Trudeau is I said this morning, he's the worst suck egg, the sorriest suck egg dog I've ever seen. He is running like a little, oh, I'm fixing to say some things I don't want to say. I better shut up. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you, I carry more brass than that man. I'm just going to tell you. I bet you I go to ching when I walk more than he does. Because he ain't, I better shut up. I've never in my life been so irritated with a leader. No, I have. I'm really irritated with Joe Biden, too. But like I said this morning, if you can't see the detonation that they're laying to blow up Western civilization, what are you looking at? And do you have your head in the sand? Because it's everywhere. From the empty store shelves to the gas prices to the investigations going on in the FBI. Our president and his son are under active investigation, y'all. Why do we have a man in the presidency that's under active investigation? I mean, and it's not just for like, I think he did this. No, they have proof. They have financial documents to show he was milking countries and sending envoys to intercede on his son's behalf. And I'm just like, oh, no. Yeah, I Kid Rock. He's got a few that are spot on here right now lately. So I've just been really irritated that people, when they come to the table, we've created a mentality within society, especially within certain groups of people, that when they come to the table, they want to bring a problem instead of a resolution. And when is that ever healthy? When is it ever healthy to bring a problem as opposed to an idea or a resolution? And how did they think that was going to work out? And how do these people that don't like to be hated justify going out and hating other people? And I watched a Dr. Phil episode the other day about trans people, and for an hour I watched everybody struggle to basically define what a woman was. And I just sat there and I thought, are we here? Are we this stupid? Are we so worried about others' emotions and fictitious fantasy beliefs? They're not part of society, that are merely part of in here. They don't really correlate with any functionality within society, merely just the part of you that is in here. Why then is society bending to overwhelmingly correct and change vocabulary when it doesn't affect societal production per se? It's in here. And it's like, listen guys, I understand, like I've dealt with gender dysphoria. There are extreme cases and there are people that have a net gain when they do transition and they have a much better life. And I understand that. But I'm just going to tell you, the thing I learned when I went to and got my master's in psychology, and I sit here with a twang, and I know y'all think I'm stupid as crap. I have my master's in psychology. I worked in forensic psychology in the Department of Corrections. And I did counseling for youth that had trauma and addiction backgrounds, were in state's custody. So I've been around the block a few times. And the one thing I realized when I was going through school and learning about psychology is that about 2/3 of it is absolute bullcrap that they create so that they can bill you. They can create a problem for you so they can bill you for it. And I would get in trouble because I would see people and assess them. And I would give them, and I would know that these people are on probation or doing something for DCS. And I would know that they would have three family meetings and parenting classes to go through a week, and a probation visit and a DCS visit. And so I would be like, okay, well, we're going to give you this one thing to do, and then we'll reassess you and see if there's anything else. And my boss would come and be like, well, they could go to 3 of our classes and we could get 4 types of billing. And I was like, but you're going to give them too much to do. too much to accomplish, where it will feel like there's too much to get done, that they're never going to get their kids back. There is no hope. They can't reform. Too much. It becomes, a stumbling block instead of a stepping stone. And I said, I know you want the billing. I understand that. But isn't someone's well-being, since they're here for mental health issues, isn't their well-being more important? And isn't it more important that I go at the patient's speed? And he was like, I want the money. I want the money. We did not end on good terms. And so I was really irritated with that. But a lot of it is just pure manipulation. And you'll tell, like, people all the time are saying Freud was this master. Freud was a sexually frustrated, fixated old perv. Let's just get that straight right now. Throw that one out there. If you want to read psychology, go read Carl Rogers from the 60s. Go read Carl Jung or Jung, it's J-U-N-G, however you want to say it. Go listen to some of those old people that have the names you can't pronounce. What is it? Dostoevsky and all those weird people. And, listen to their books that they wrote forever ago that have more honesty and truth to them than anything you'll listen to anyone currently. And the only current person really the most current person I listened to was Carl Rogers. And literally after the late 70s and early 80s, psychology took a very dark turn. There was a lot of testing, inappropriate testing going on within the mental health field. And it was a very dark thing for many, many years. And I don't mind to call it out and say, it was just a pure manipulation and a bunch of crap. I'll tell you exactly what I don't like about psychology. And that's what I don't like, is that you take people that have a valid issue and then you bring them in and then you create more issues so that you can get money. But you say you're doing it for their well-being and for their care. I'm gonna call bullcrap on that. So I worked at my patient's speed and to meet my patient's needs, not to put money in my pockets. And the guy that oversaw the thing, even though I was doing group sessions, so I was getting a lot of clinical hours because I had like 13 juveniles. I had a full group 3 times a week and then had my individual and my assessments. I would turn over massive billing hours a week, but he still wanted more. And I was just like, I'm not going to put their lives in such a state that they cannot succeed. That would be counterproductive to what we're attempting to do. And he would try to pressure me, and I'd be like, oh, I'm an oak tree. I ain't going. I ain't budging. I ain't bending. And he got very upset with me. And I said, listen, we have an issue. I said, do you like the money more than the patients? And I said, I care for the patients more than the money. And I said, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. And so he was not a fan of mine. I was not a fan of his. And that's okay. But I still went in every day and was there for my patients. Oh yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's best for the kids to be completely removed. And sometimes it's best for children to be removed and adopted into a completely new family where they don't even have attachments back to the past. I've seen some traumatic crap that y'all would not even begin to grasp. I had a family that was attending, they said it was a religious family, but it was basically a cult. And they had been going there, and the pastor, who was 40 years senior of their 13 or 14-year-old daughter, had wanted to create a relationship with the daughter and had actually been inappropriate with the daughter. And I had this family in my office, and I was like, I'm gonna need you here on Wednesdays for this parenting class. And they're like, well, we can't. That's a church night. Where are you going to? It's not really my business, but because of the circumstances, Are you still at the church that you were at? Oh, no, 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 no. We found a new one. Okay, well, when you picked this one, did you use different parameters from picking the last one? Because my concern is, and this was a repetitive issue. It happened to a previous child of theirs as well. And so we have some really bad repetitive issues, which may make me think that we're not having, the appropriate cognition when it comes to picking a place of worship. And I said, number one, how old is the pastor? Oh, well, roughly the same age as the last one. Okay. If you know that you have inappropriate tendencies to bond too closely with the pastor's family and to put your children at risk because of your desire to be prominent in the church, perhaps we need to make a list of things we potentially need to see as red flags when we're making these choices, because they had two smaller daughters, and I was concerned about them. And they tried every way in the world to get out of that parenting class. And I had to look at them and I said, I respect that you want to worship. I respect that you have, the desire to go and praise and lead your family and raise them in this way. I have no problem with that. But I also know that the court is making you do this, and the only night they offer that class is Wednesday. And I'm sorry, but the circumstances here are pretty dire. It's criminal charges that are in the balance here, and you're going to have to attend. And my family tried to get me wrote up, and I had to go to court. And the judge was like, well, why didn't you let him go another night? I said, we're in a rural area. We don't have another class. It only happens on that night. The nearest class is 75 miles away. They stated they can't travel that far. I'm looking at the risk, especially with other children in the home, and DCF trying to work with not removing these children, but correcting the issue. I can't correct the issue if I can't get them into a corrective program. And the judge was like, y'all have got to go. Why did you bump her? Why were you pulling against her? And but I mean, you see parents make some really big judgment errors, and that one was kind of like a derp. If you've been in this position and you know that there are these pitfalls and that there are predators in these places, why would you then almost walk into the same scenario? Like, if the Ford company had screwed you over on 2 car notes, would you then go and get a third at the Ford company? No, you wouldn't, would you? I hope not. But I saw a lot, and I saw a lot that really concerned me. But the biggest issue that I had was that they wanted me to create billable hours, but not do it with the benefit of the client as the primary objective, which is the way I was trained in this way I was trained in school. And so it really bothered me. It really bothered me. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. It is one. Okay, and I've been saying this for a while. Have you noticed the microaggressions within society? Because I'm seeing from your topic, your reply there, you most likely are. You're seeing these microaggressions, these illogical, irrational behaviors from people that goes against the rational thought process. So like in these supermarkets, like in there's a Walmart video going around on the internet where this guy is in a Walmart line and he's already checked out, and he turns to the guy behind him and he's like, put your freaking mask on. And the guy's like, there's no mask mandate, dude. I'm standing 6 foot away. You're already paid. Just go on. Leave. You're not going to be at risk. Just walk away. Put your mask on. You're putting my family at risk. Just walk away, dude. Just go on. Vamoose. Run. And the guy's like, I don't have a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. I have a medical issue to not wear a mask. The guy that is saying that you're putting me at risk. You're scaring me. You're threatening me. Who was so worried about droplets and contamination, then becomes the aggressor and goes after the man, gets in his bubble, makes physical contact because he was scared that the guy might toss a germ toward him. Well, I guarantee if you waller up on his head, you're going to get a germ. You have your rabies shots. That's good. And so I was just like, why are we seeing this irrational behavior? And I think it's because, and I've been saying mass psychosis for a while. If you go back to my videos, I've been saying this is a mass psychosis for a while. And it's not just one going on. There's a few going on. And I've been saying this for a while. But it's starting to become a very prominent thing now. Daniel's hanging out in here. How you doing, Daniel? When you going after your little woman? When you going on your trip to pick up your woman? Daniel is Twitter-pated currently, and we're just all rooting for him. Did you want me to say that? I said it. But back to topic anyway. We're starting to see the breakdown because people can't hold it together anymore, and so we're starting to see the emotions become more erratic. And so people are, with the weather, probably not a bad idea. I'm sorry you had to postpone, though. I know he's looking forward to it. But with the breakdown, we're not seeing things hide as well. So we've got Creek Squad popping in now too. We're not seeing society be able to hide these malfunctions as well. So we're seeing more of the outburst. Instead of just a random Karen or two, we're getting hordes of people being inappropriate, super aggressive, super animated. They've taken away this, so now when we communicate, we look like animals trying to sling poo in the jungle. And it's just degraded society in so many ways. And I get so surprised when I sit down with people that can't see it. Just don't understand how they can't see it. Daniel, I'm super glad that the internet was a positive for you. I think it can be a positive for more people if we just try to find good people. And I'm glad you found a good person. I'm excited for you. I'm sad you had to postpone, but with everything that's going on weather-wise, it's not a bad idea. But keep us updated. You have to keep us updated. we want to know how this works out. Especially since now I'm invested because I communicated. Yes, Dusty, yes. Oh, I was watching a channel the other day. Oh, gosh. If you look at the project, I think it's SALUS. I don't want to say it. If you look at that, you're going to see a lot of stuff coming to light. You're going to see a lot of stuff coming to light that is very important right now. You're going to see the number manipulation. And if you go and don't Google, but DuckDuckGo, New Zealand labs, nanotechnology, you might just be surprised at what New Zealand has found and is asking people to come in and solidify the finding. It's kind of scary. I can't say it. If you want to put it in the comments, you can, but I can't say it out loud. It's kind of scary. And, and people say, well, how can you believe that? I can believe it because for the last 2.5 years, the unbelievable has become the consistent daily behavior. If you go DuckDuckGo and look at, I actually shared a link in the community tab as well. But if you DuckDuckGo and just Google New Zealand lab and nanotechnology, it's pretty mind-boggling. It's pretty scary. But yeah, the unbelievable has become the consistent daily occurrence. So nothing's off the table. Oh no, it's so much worse than that, cowgirl. So much worse than that. Like, you ever gone to the dollar store and seen one of those universal remotes that goes home and works on every device? Mm-hmm. Daniel, bless your heart. Um, but cowgirl, yeah, yeah, they've been discovered, and by labs, and well, actually by labs all over the world. But New Zealand's the one that's actually standing up and demanding that their government come and investigate, and either confirm or deny the findings, um, because they're mad. They're so mad, and I'm like, we would be mad too if we could get it on the freaking news. Or if we could share a story without it being blocked, or if we could say the words without it being erased. Um, and that's another thing that people say. Oh, well, they're not funneling the information. You're just misinformed. No, you're missed. It's missed information. Um, and there are a lot of people that, because it's never on YouTube or it's never on their news pages, they believe it is non-existent. It's not happening. And for those people, I just, pop the bubble you're in, because it's not the real world. There's so much going on right now that, you have to, everything that I think I believe, I have to go and try to research to disprove it before I even will follow it. And so if I'm looking into something, it's because when I've tried to disprove it, I've not been able to find something to disprove it. I've actually found more information to say, oh crap, it could potentially be absolutely true. So if I share a link with something, it's because it has scared the crap out of me, because there's a lot of potential behind it. Well, if you're blocked by him, it's okay. It's not a great loss. It's probably a good thing. I've got to try to remember that DTOM Codex holster guy that mailed holsters to Ryan. When I talk to Ryan, I'm going to try to remember to ask him if he still has those, because he wanted them signed and mailed back. I'm going to try to do a favor for somebody. He had some pretty, solid information, solid advice for Creek Squad the other day. Just because Ron has a beef with somebody doesn't mean we have to have a beef with them. I tried to go in and say, look at your behavior, look at your thinking processes. Let's look where we've been wrong. Let's, try to change them and improve them. Oh, it's okay. I'm bouncing tonight anyway. But at the same time, he's really upset that he mailed the holsters and didn't get them back. But I mean, if you mail something to somebody that probably gets thousands of packages, I mean, that's kind of a risk you take. But I'm going to try to ask about that before we get started, so that if he's still got them, he can mail them back. But I hope my voice holds up tomorrow. I hope I don't run a fever tomorrow. And if I wake up feeling better, then I'm going to message Ron and see if we can start looking at his near future schedule and get something lined up. I just don't want to sound like a man or have my voice go out when I'm trying to talk to him. So, but I will be doing an interview with one of my bonus children to brag on them. And he's been a big performance art all over the world. Was in the World Tour of Rent and runs his own business and has sang with the Nashville Tenors. So he's very successful, and I'm going to brag on him, and I'm going to start showing you people that I know in the world that I know. Hey, okay, you're talking about the Summer Wells case. That has been a circus from the get-go. Dawn Wells and Candace have been on the bait and switch manipulation world tour from day one. You can go back and look at my videos on that. And they're actually, at this point, and I don't talk about it a lot because I don't like to add energy there, because YouTube has gotten so toxic. There are a few people that do really good jobs of updating people about that case, like Lip Lock No More. She's dead on it. She's following the facts. She's bringing information, but she doesn't always follow the, she doesn't follow the drama. She doesn't always follow the manipulation. And So I check in with her a lot. I really enjoy her lives. She's very passionate about what she does, and I enjoy her lives. And but that man wouldn't know the truth if it was smacked him between the eyes. He wouldn't know the truth if it was wedged up his butt for a week. He would not know the truth if he got it tattooed on his hind end. I mean, that man is, and I said it from the get-go, he is still very much in the underbelly of society. He can go to church and he can brush shoulders with whoever he wants to brush shoulders with. But when you start going into an investigation and you start talking about the people you've been around, the people that's been on your property, the people that's camped on your property, and you're still actively very much intertwined into that underbelly of society, those people that not everyone likes to be around, it says something. It says something. So that man has been on my radar from day one. I did a video about it. I tried to drop some truth bombs for him, but I don't trust him as far as I can spit. And when he talks, I get the heebie-jeebies bigger than snot. And I get the heebie-jeebies with both of them, but I get the heebie-jeebies more with him. Sometimes I feel super sad for the mother, and other times I feel super embarrassed, and other times I just feel super frustrated. But choose your partners in this world. You better pick a dandy, not something like that. So that whole case is just, and so I've not put a lot of energy there because, I'm super close. It's just, an hour or so down the road. And if I see something that I need to share, I will, but I just don't. I did a panel over some psych issues, trying to break down psych issues of people that have been in those positions, and thought I was getting into a really good fact-based community. I literally fell into the mean girls of YouTube. And when I said, no thank you, I don't want to be part of this, then they got mad at me because they didn't want to be part of that. And I was just like, I'm just going to walk over here and y'all can do your thing. And when you get unmad, just go away. And so I just kind of just said, I retract my energy and let them go. To this day, I still get talked about. All I did was one panel. And when they started trying to dredge up criminal charges on each other, on creators, and get money by fraud, and it was bad. I said, I don't want to be part of this anymore. And I got attacked, and I thought, so, it's horrible. It's horrible. And then they're like, oh, just wait, she'll come back and want to be back in the limelight. Nope. I don't want to be in, don't want to be in that show. Nope. I'm kind of embarrassed that I actually did the panel. I took a chance on a young creator that was doing StreamYard, did not even have enough subs to really stream at that time. And I took a chance because I thought there was a good intention there. As soon as monetization came into the picture, that good intention went down that freaking drain. And I was just like, nope, not gonna be here. It's not who I am. But when I withdrew, I've not been to anyone's pages, not spoken to anybody, when I'm done, I'm done. But it is a very, the true trauma is a very sour community for me right now. So I don't stick my nose in there a little bit. I don't condone getting money from people and then stating it's for a benefit or for a fund or for a specific purpose, and then not following through with that and having people want to know where their money went, and then they just disappear. They don't know where their money went. Of course, on the flip side of that, if you're stupid enough to send money to somebody on YouTube, don't send your money to a stranger. It's just not smart. But then they would come on there and they'd be like, well, this person has worked here, has owned that, has done this with Don Wells, has known him since he was in kindergarten, is obviously nothing. And they're like, I'm going to have the FBI at their door, the TBI, the U.S. Marshals. And I'm like, okay, listen, okay, you have 3 jurisdictions. Okay, no, stop. But these people are very intent, and they get into these thinking patterns. They get into these cycles of behavior where it's like getting like into a manic episode, and they get so revved up about this fantasy prediction in their mind that they can't separate it from fact, and they go after these people, and they really try to, like, they call the law and try to get them in trouble. And I'm like, well, why did you think that he was part of that? Well, because he lives 3 miles down the road. And then he started that channel right after she went missing. A lot of people in the area started the channel right after she went missing because it created a momentum within the communities. Did you ever think about that? No? Oh, your head was up your hind end? Okay. Firmly wedged? Okay. So just the intent behind some of the behaviors. Getting on there and saying, well, this person has a substance abuse issue, and don't trust them, don't send them money, send it to me. My fund is going to be better. And then, but not providing the evidence that the fund is actually legit. And then people saying, well, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to take you to court over my money, I'm going to call the law and have charges applied. And I was just like, yo, there's no need for this. Adults, don't send your money to people you don't trust. And you didn't make sure it was on par before you sent it, that's your fault. But let's not start this. And it just turned into such I was just embarrassed. I was embarrassed for it. OnlyFans page. That is something I will never. Just the thought of that makes me want to crack up. Oh, Lord. Well, I'm going to have to go because I'm super tired and my phone's going to die. But I just wanted to pop on here and let you know I do have stuff coming down the pipeline. I am feeling better. Denise, can you email me? Will you email that to me? And I have another one I put on the community tab of a very recent, like just the other day, missing youth that it was a runaway potentially. So everybody go to the community tab, share that information, screenshot that picture, get it out there. This young lady is potentially still very close to home in the Indiana area. Let's try to get her face out there so that her family has more chances to get her home. And Denise, if you will email me that information, I will try to look into that. I am hesitant to do any true crime stuff. But if there's enough factual evidence to follow without thinking I'm going to get into another flogging contest, I'll do it. I'm feeling good enough to feel cantankerous. I'm getting there. I ran a fever off and on today. I've not felt the best, but I'm getting there. So I'll be back to full mischief here very, very soon. But I just wanted to pop on and let you know. Interviews coming down the way. I'm going to start showing you my world a little bit more, the people that I have been instrumental in their lives and who have been instrumental in my life, and so that you get a more well-rounded picture of the person I am and the content of my character, so that I don't ever want you to come on here and question my motivation. I don't want you to ever do that. So yeah, Denise, just email it to me, and when I lay down, I'll start trying to pull information. But I appreciate everyone that's checked on me, sent energy. It's helped so much. You might, Daniel. You might. If you say it to the wrong person, you just might become a top 10 missing or wanted person. Not missing, wanted person. You may become, you may end up in a federal pen over a cinnamon bun. But I mean, it was that bad. And I was just sitting here going, oh, these are adults. I can't do this anymore. I have cutoffs. Like I tell you this all the time. I'm nice till I'm not, and then I'm not. I'm done. When I'm done, I'm done. And I turn very, when I'm done, it's turned off. And I'm done. And so they didn't believe me. I think they do now. But it was not a good experience. And this should be a place where you go to get good experiences and talk and communicate and dialogue and you know, back and forth, and not get hammered by the people that are making content. You know, it was rude. So I'm going to be, now that my voice is staying, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm not running a fever, I'm going to message him tomorrow. I'm going to message Ryan tomorrow and tell him to start looking at his next few days and what will work for him. So I'm going to try to get it done ASAP. I just did not want to sound like a man or lose my voice during the interview. So it will be on his schedule when he can do it around this album that's coming out. But I'm going to, if I wake up feeling better tomorrow, I'm going to message him and say, okay, it's a go. Let's get this done. I've been way too sick the last few days. But I do have other stuff coming for y'all as well. I'm really excited to interview Ryan. I have spoken with him before. We have had dialogue before. I genuinely enjoy the young man. And I think this is going to be a really good, candid, just sit down talk of a different perspective, of a different vibe. And I'm excited to see the response from Creek Squad for a different questioning, a lot of questioning, and a different vantage point at this young man. So, because I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be like, hey, you know, because I look at him very much like one of my bonus children. I mommy him the boy to death. I do. Bless his heart. He probably gets very frustrated with me. But he reminds me so much of my son. And so I look at this from a very motherly perspective, but then I also bring a little bit of my background into it, and I understand what he's going through with the fame because I have other famous friends, and I see the struggle with them as well. And so I want to bring a different viewpoint, and that's what I'm hoping to do, is just get a different side of him, the side that I see, that I really cherish. I want to bring that out a little bit more than, you know, what the young people that interviewed him bring out. And I think I can accomplish that without being too much of a psychoanalyst mama hen. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Thank you, Dusty. I appreciate that. Thank you all for joining me. Your time you can never get back, so I appreciate it when you spend the time with me. Please go look through the community tabs and click on those links, put wrinkles in your brain, look at what's happening, look at New Zealand especially. And I probably will not see yins until I put something out tomorrow evening. But I'm feeling better, and I am working on stuff, and the interview will be coming. Ryan is very much still in contact and like pinging me when I'm on YouTube, letting me know he's still actively looking forward to it. So we will get it done ASAP. Love yous all. It is almost 10:30. Have a good night. Watch the weather. Take care of yourselves. And if you're going to be in this winter storm, check on your family and loved ones. Brenda, I hope so. I hope I don't fail yous all. I'm going to really try not to. Okay. I'm going to go to bed now. Love yous. Mama Liz out.